If parts of your body tingle when you hear an engine rev, if the hair on the back of your neck stands up when you hear tires squeal, then you've found your new home. This is the Rev'd Up GarageCast. Today, we're talking about the SMW Demolition Derby Expo with Casey Smith at the Preble County Fair Expo Center. Seminars, vendors, exhibition derby, and much more to get revved up about. You're listening to the Rev'd Up GarageCast. Now your hosts, Stephen, Mark, and Eddie.
Hey, what's up? This is Steven Sickles with Rev'd Up GarageCast. I'm here with Mark and Eddie as always, and today we have a special guest. We have Casey Smith from Smith's Metalworks. He's going to be talking today, well, we're all going to be talking about, me and Eddie have both been to the Expo before, and Mark has not. So we're going to be talking about why you should be there and what all is involved. The Smith Metalwork Expo is now moved to Ohio, correct, Casey?
That is correct. We have moved the Smith Metalworks Derby Expo to Western Ohio.
To Western Ohio. To some, they say that's like the mecca of the derby world. There's a lot of hidden drivers that you don't even know are from Western Ohio that just pop up and win. But the change of location is definitely something because it's always been west. Would you consider this northwestern PA or
This is northwestern PA.
northwestern Pennsylvania? It's always been here. So why has it changed, Casey?
Well, our plan from day one was we wanted to create an event that really brought all aspects of Demolition Derby, not only to the drivers, the promoters, the fans, but also create an event on a trade show type platform that could let a lot of people that are outside of our world get a good place to come see inside of it. So we knew that we wanted to grow it. We didn't know how long it would take, but our initial model was grow it enough where we can move it geographically so more people could experience it throughout the U.S. and possibly someday, even into Canada, obviously, which is a big, base for motorsport and demolition derby as well.
So this has been moved to Preble County Fairgrounds in Eaton, Ohio, correct?
That is correct. Preble County, home of Mark Elliott, his backyard, which is also one of our event directors, one of four.
Yeah, who else is helping you with this program?
With this, I chose to bring in a few people. We pushed for it to be adopted maybe by, some other people. But anyway, Mark Elliott, Frankie Guy, and Jeff Showman from Jeffy's Fab Farm.
So I've been to the one here. It seems like a far drive at first, but the value you're getting and what all is going to be there is definitely worth the drive to me.
Well, distance is distance, and one thing that you'll find is we're all willing to drive. Look at the hours we'll travel today to compete in a demolition derby or go watch a demolition derby or support whatever show. So it's anywhere from, a 30-minute drive from our house here or less, or up to how many hours to go to Utah, guys back here and also traveling out west. And I know you got a big schedule. It looks like you're planning on doing like 50 derbies, 50 states master plan. So
yeah, I'm hoping to fly to some of them.
Take the easy way out.
Yeah, it ain't easy. It's never easy.
But, going back to the topic of is it a far drive? Well, we've been very blessed to have a huge part of New York, Pennsylvania, Ohio, Maryland, Virginia, even upstate New England states, come to the Expo. But when we look at Illinois and, the Midwest and, getting into approaching Colorado, Utah, et cetera, out in the western states, that extra 5 hours is not a big deal until, an 18-hour drive becomes maybe a 25-hour drive. But moving it west brings us to a more central location for Kentucky, Michigan, Illinois, and kind of that target area. So there's been a lot of people that have attended the Expo for 3 years that have gladly drove 4 hours to here. So we feel that we're going to be able to give people a lot more to see, a lot more vendors. We've already had a lot of vendors sign up from Illinois.
That's awesome.
Yes, and Indiana, of course, you can't discount that state's.
There's a lot of
sport.
drivers in Missouri too. That's just straight off 70. if you keep
There
going.
is, because when you talk about, one of the biggest shows in the U.S., like you talk about the Kansas events, that whole highway of Demolition Derby out there is all Missouri, Kansas. You get up in, obviously, Minnesota, Dakotas.
It'd definitely be nice to see some of them guys head towards this way. And I know this expo. There's a lot of different things that they can benefit from. One of those being seminars.
That is correct. Just to give you, a quick direction, our mission statement for the Expo is building the future. And there's a lot of things that come with a statement like that. You can say building the future of what? Just Derby? Well, the whole sport has the potential to grow beyond probably what we can even imagine. And a lot of people have always been working behind the scenes. You got a lot of promoters that are doing their things to try to put their own work into it to get results. But we focus mainly on the youth aspect, which is, at the end of the day, the future of anything in our country, whether it be our communities, our future of our governments, future of our schools, and also motorsports and our demolition derby sport. So we got some really awesome things we're doing this year with the youth. So that's going to be the primary focus of a lot of things, not all of it, just one big part of a bigger expo.
When it comes to them seminars, though, I've rewatched some of them a couple times. There's some information there that I've been around the sport for 15 years, and I'm still learning. So the youth that's coming up is really getting some opportunities that we never had, and some of them guys are smarter than me at 16 than.
Well, it ain't so much that I think they're smarter than we were at 16. We're giving them a huge opportunity to jumpstart their demolition derby career.
Yeah, and actually Mark and Eddie were talking about that on the way up here. The derby community used to be so closed off.
Very secretive.
And it's now becoming more, and it's for educational purposes and for growing, which is great, starting to become more open to helping one another.
Yeah, that's, it's a creativity thing. And it's the builder behind the scenes, when you talk about a guy building a car, there are some of the most clever, smartest people, in my opinion, in this sport, because you can walk around a car a lot of times and it can look like 40 other cars, but that car is going to show its dominance out there. And you wonder, was the guy cheating? That's always the word everybody likes to use, but it's no different than a lot of major motorsports. Not everybody's going to tell you everything. There's an old saying that says, if I tell you how to make the soup, we go hungry.
Have you got to the point where you have the seminars scheduled out to you knowing what they're going to be about yet?
What I can tell you is we have so much content this year. It's pretty tremendous. That's why people say, why did you move it? We needed a bigger facility, and we have a nice facility here at Smith Metal Works, with the size of it and all. But to do this, we have to continue to grow it. So therefore, we needed all the amenities of a convention center, plus a place with a track, a place to host the promoters dinner and summit the Friday before, which is a topic we'll get into a little bit later. But we needed the space because if we're going to have so many things going on simultaneously, that way you're not waiting for the next thing to happen, and we anticipate already the attendance to be probably 2 to 3 times what it was this past year, which was amazing. So, going back to so much that we're going to have going on that day, the seminars, and everyone says, do you have it outlined yet? We don't quite yet. But we can give you a little teaser of what we have scheduled for the day, and we got some truly amazing things. And having the 3 other event directors with me, Some of the best guys that have been, embedded in this sport, like Mark Elliott, Frankie Guy, Jeff Showman. The ideas they come up with in us in general discussion, it's not even what we start off with thinking we're going that day, but just we come out with some amazing things. For example, we're going to do a lot of youth stuff. One of the most amazing things we're doing this year is, we tell everybody, look, this is what you're getting for the ticket for this event. We're having a ride and drive this year. So when you buy the ticket for the day, it's going to cover all the seminars, your admission into the facility, and access to all the fabulous exhibitors, vendors, promoters. And also, it's going to cover your seat for the Derby event that evening, and also for what we call the ride and drive, which is going to be an LS-powered car on the track, where if you've never been able to experience that and wondered about what's this, horsepower engine, what's this drivetrain like, you're going to be able to go out there and take it for a rip. So where else can you go and do that?
I don't think I've seen that.
I have not seen that yet, and we had some technical difficulties, but I was touching on the fact, if you've never been to Preble County Fairgrounds, it is an extremely beautiful facility that's well housed for this. One of the things in the past with SMW Expo, they had the Demolition Derby afterwards last year. You had to travel a short distance. It wasn't bad. We had to leave here and drive a few miles to the arena. This one we'll be able to pretty much just walk right outside, correct?
Yes, you'll be able to transition right from the Expo event door to right to the track, which you're going to be doing all day anyway if you're going to participate in the ride and drive, or also some of the youth on track stuff that we're going to do with the youth drivers. I'm actually going to take part of our SMW driving school to Preble County for the day and work with a lot of youth, give them some, a glimpse into what we do with that. And I'll also have some, previous students there that have, experienced it and to help me with it. And we will release that information as well. I'm sure we'll get a lot of, inquiries about how and why and what, but due to, the limited topics we need to cover tonight, I figured that's a teaser for what that'll be. So, and to take it a step farther, talking about seminars, one of the amazing things we talk about with the youth being not only our future drivers of the sport, but we're going to really expose them to some of the officiating side. So we're going to give some youngsters the opportunities to do the inspection, because one of the additions that we're adding out there is a youth class for a heat.
Oh, you're going to add another heat?
We are going to have two heats. Not only are we going to have the bloodbath, the minivans with the vendors and the promoters.
Casey, I heard, are you going to be in a minivan?
I am.
How do you feel about that?
Hopefully way better than the guy I hit.
Fair.
Sometimes it don't always work like that.
I know it don't, but I'm prepared to make that sacrifice.
I heard you're having some help getting that van built. After I heard who it was, are you going to have a fair tech process?
I don't know.
Oh, boy.
Yeah, I enlisted to help a little freebie to help build my van because I know zero about vans. So he offered it, and I said, well, just build me something that's not going to get me killed. So he's been there to assist me through a driving school with some assisting with coaching with some other kids, and he's done a great job, and I look forward to his help, so it'll be fun.
Well, I don't know how much he knows about vans, but I do know if there is a tech process, you might want to bring torches.
Well, that's the one thing I'm not planning on taking to Preble, so I guess I'll have to use my negotiating skills if that's the case.
We better have a talk
or
with
whatever
a
that
little
is.
freebie.
So. But anyway, we're going to introduce a youth class there. There's been a lot of, if you want to talk about a topic, it really gets people's wheels spinning out there, and it don't matter if it's Demolition Derby. You just add kids' sports in general to it, and you get a lot of stuff.
What blows my mind about that is that 99% of the time, it's not the kids, and half the time it's not even the parents of the kids. It's adults that are so opinionated on a topic that aren't even involved with it.
I would say that you probably hit that on about a 99% accuracy.
I mean, sometimes it just boggles my mind what these adults, they look at it with such vengeance.
I mean, I've been sitting, like, watching youth heats at different shows and hearing some of the stuff that comes out of adults' mouths about the youth and, like, their kids. Like, it's a learning curve, and they don't seem to understand that.
Well, and I don't want to get too far off track with that discussion. That's like a whole another 10 episodes if you want.
Yeah.
But yeah, you're right. And it's not only just this sport. It's a lot of it. And I did a video here a while back to kind of touch on that. I'll just briefly say the point is, whenever you're involved in a youth program, if you want to make a difference, get involved. Okay.
Yeah.
Shut your mouth up. Go get involved in a program. And whatever the goal of that program, it should be to bring the best out of the youth for what it is. And sometimes that's not always measured by a trophy or a medal. So, but anyway, going back to we're going to introduce a novice youth heat. It's going to be a limited field, so more information will be coming out for this. And I will tell you this, it's going to be open only to kids that have never competed. It's going to be a build of a car that we have not yet decided. It's not going to be a heavy build by no means. And the reason we're doing just a novice heat and more or less an exhibition heat is to give a lot of people have asked for something, on a different line of what the SMW youth rules are or what's been out there at other programs. So we're going to take a look at it. There's a lot of people that have, brought up a lot of good topics over the past year, 2 years. But we're going to actually have youth inspectors that day, and we're going to have some youth flagmen and officiators assisting with the veterans.
Well, I mean, eventually, not only on the track are they the future, they're getting a lot of these are going to be the future off the track as well.
Well, we hope because, going back to the topic of the promoter summit and dinner we do the night before the expo, we need promoters. We need people to put on these events.
Mm-hmm.
And there's always going to be a change of the guard at some point where, whether it be family member takes over that promotion company or, somebody new comes in to, bring their spin on it. But, hey, kids grow up and want to be all kinds of things or, be exposed to things. So the best thing we can do is give them a little preview of as much of it from every angle we can.
Absolutely. I've seen in multiple scenarios where the predecessor that's taken over hasn't been prepared. So I've watched some fail and I've watched some flourish into good companies. And
well, and you'll have that with a lot of things. I mean, no matter what, when someone puts in the work or they want to take that step to try or they take that risk, to do something, there's a lot of people that always want to see them not succeed. But really, you should encourage, success with anybody that wants to go try it because, a lot of times nobody gets it right out of the gate. And, who knows what the version of right is. That's an opinion as well. But with this expo, we can bring so many things into it for people to see for the future of the youth, whether it be on the track or off the track. The seminars are amazing this year. We have one specifically, Jacob Gilliam is going to do one called Staying in Your Lane, which is to help mediate with when you're signing up for a Demolition Derby event and picking a class to run, really some key things to help you maybe make a choice which division you should be in. So many times you see it, not only in this motorsport, but other motorsports. You either get in your head, you either are underbuilt, overbuilt, or maybe you don't have the resources that you thought you had to be competitive, and it's easy to get frustrated.
yeah, I mean, I've been a part of that at some places, but this is the first time I've heard of that specific seminar, but I'm very excited because I feel that's something I've excelled in my career. I pick and choose where I fit in sometimes. And I know a lot of times I don't have the money to go, not necessarily the money, I don't have the equipment to go run some 15,000 to win shows.
Well, that's if you take the money out of it too. There's a lot of events that across the country. If you take the numbers out of the winnings, there's a lot of experienced guys. Okay, like we'll just I'm gonna just name a couple events. Like if you jump into say the King of Ohio, all right, that is almost I'm not going to say hand picked, but it's targeted towards what's to be considered the best of the business out there on the track.
Yeah.
I mean, you're going to probably draw somebody the caliber of one of the Bronze or Pete Hansen or somebody else. I mean, and it's if you think that you're just going to jump out there on that track and you spend all this money and you got this hot rod and you're going to go out there, that's where the disappointment might come in because there's a lot of people watching you. And look, it ain't because you're not good at what you're doing. You're just not as good as they are.
You don't have the experience on that level that they do. And
Right, but it's also an awesome place to test yourself.
it's all in what the person's made of, though.
That is true. And, and just like that's, I think the biggest thing that guys do is they go somewhere and they don't realize that, hey, maybe this is a hot spot where just a lot of really good guys like to run. There's dirt tracks like that all over the U.S.
I've went to places in Ohio, and you wouldn't realize running the point series really opened my eyes to this. I didn't know anything about Salina, Ohio until I went to Salina, Ohio. And I ran a compact class, so it didn't affect me as much. But if I would have took a full size there that night, I would have probably got ran over. I mean, you see the Bronze come out there. You see, I believe Zizelman. There's a lot of guys from that area that, like, if you weren't from there, you would never know. But that full-size feature is going to be rowdy.
Well, you're going to find out that the Derby DNA in that neck of the woods is definitely some of the best in the country.
Oh, and that's why I've never once argued where this is moving towards there right now. I think that's a good location. Now, I don't know. You said that you always had intentions on moving this around geographically. Does that mean in a few years that?
We would love nothing more than, in a few years or a year, or whatever we feel is the timing to move it to another place. And that's the great thing with this, with the right facility and, venue, you can do this. But we chose Preble County, mainly because, A, they were very welcoming. It's in western Ohio, which a lot of people consider the Mecca Demolition Derby. It's easily accessible from east to west to midwest to north to south.
It's not far off 70.
No, it's not far off 70, stone's throw. And we have, they've opened up the doors there for on-site camping, which all that information will be out soon, so you can camp right on the site. And there's plenty of room. We should not run out of room, we hope. If we do, great.
Yeah.
But not only that, we have accommodations nearby, which that information will be coming out very soon.
Preble's house to hold a lot of stuff, though.
It will. It really will.
I mean, back on the subject of, like, your limits, if you would move somewhere else, would you go anywhere, like, I don't know, like the Carolinas, somewhere that far? Because I feel like they have shows down there, and we've seen it's a great facility, good shows, and it's just hard to pack the place like they're not into it or something down there.
I think there's probably more going on there than we see.
Yeah.
Because that's not a part of our
Area.
our culture that's right in front of us. You know what I mean? So we're used to from Ohio to Indiana to back here to New York to, we see that. We don't see North Carolina, South Carolina, Georgia, even Virginia for the most part, other than chaos in the valley.
Yeah.
So. And I believe that there's these there's these areas all over the U.S. where it's a strong sport. I mean, you got Derek Court out of New Mexico out there, and he travels all over the West, up to Utah, which, a 20-hour drive for somebody out west is like down the road, where we're like, 4 hours away. So.
I was talking to a gentleman about a derby in Alaska that I was contemplating going, and he's like, "Oh, it's close to my house, 5 hours." It's a beautiful road, though.
Yeah, I mean, and someone, they'd almost walk a 2-hour drive.
Yeah, but moving to different areas of the country, I mean, and I've got to see a lot of that through my travels. You head down into the Carolinas, there's talent. I mean, and they've shined in different scenarios.
There is, because one thing that I've picked up on, over the past couple years, it's going down, mainly with Carolina Derby Promotions, is one thing about boys in the South is they all know how to make a small block Chevy run.
Oh yeah.
You know, and I'm not saying, you know, I'm not picking on the Ford guys. I know there's a couple of you out there, but you know, when you get south and you get into the heart and soul of, you know, roots of racing and that, you got some guys that can put together some drivetrains.
I don't think you want to get hit by a fur caddy either.
No, I mean, you know, that's.
So we're getting a little bit off the expo,
Yeah,
though, so we want to get back on track.
But we'll round back to that. But, you know, anyway, the expo is a great place for a lot of seminars, information from, you know, car building tips to products. I mean, the vendors we got lining this place
Yes,
up
we didn't
this
talk
year,
vendors yet.
we're probably going to, I couldn't tell you how many vendors we're going to have, but it's a tremendous amount. We already have a huge amount of vendors registered that, you know, they've committed to space there. And it's the one thing I hope everybody finds out, that if you've been dragging your feet to get space, because you get you know, the floor plan fills up, and we're actually going out there Tuesday to lay it out and start helping some of these vendors pick out their spaces with what we're going to send them. You might not get first choice, and I hate to say it, but if you don't get in there soon, there might not be any space left. I mean, we were planning on leaving it open running through February, but there's a good chance that if you don't get on the ball, we might be ending that by the end of this month.
So the vendors need to get registered. You need to stay tuned because there's definitely going to be a lot more information coming out. This is just the tip of the iceberg. The only thing that I feel that we didn't mention that definitely needs to be brought up is this event has been free in the past. It was always in-house here at Smith Metal Works. Moving locations, there's a lot of cost involved in that, of course. And this year there is going to be a cost to attend. So Mark's never been there, and one of his first questions was, how much is it?
Right. And before you say, you know, like, how much is it, is you got to ask what's there that's worth paying for. So, I mean, not only the best vendors in the business from across the U.S., and not only some of the best promoters and upcoming promoters, supporters of Demolition Derby, but also the amount of information that you can learn about this sport, from marketing to driving to building to watch, you know, 2 exhibition heats plus the ride and drive and the hands-on that you get for this sport. You're looking at a $20 ticket.
Yeah, that ain't
for all
nothing,
this.
Yeah.
And, you know, and we understand that.
No, you don't have that set in stone yet, and that's okay.
No, we don't. That's an estimate. We've taken into consideration that if, you know, naturally, if we could continue to do it for at no cost, you know, why wouldn't you? But unfortunately, in this age, I mean, you look at where we moved it, obviously a great new facility where they're still making improvements and constructing some great new stuff and improvements construction-wise.
The numbers that you've discussed with me, you're just, the value you're getting, I mean, it's nothing compared to the value.
No, and we're taking into consideration that kids at a certain age and under will be admitted free. You know, we're not. I think what people got to understand is this is something we built for the Demolition Derby community and world, and also for people that want to come. And we don't want to do anything to discourage that attendance, but we want to be able to provide the best experience that we can. So with that, we have to be able to, you know, bring in a lot of other avenues that, you know, normally we could support back here at our facility, you know, at no cost or an internal cost, but there we have to, you know, extend that this facility is saying, hey, here it is. They've been great to work with, and so on and so forth. So I think if you really don't think that any of this would be worth $20, I mean, and you really don't realize the value of what's going to be there this day.
From what I heard too, like, I've never been there, which, I mean, I should have been there, but just the amount of knowledge getting passed around down there is well worth the money.
Well, I mean, the seminars are one thing, but I'm here to tell you that there's a lot of conversations going on out there 3-4 guys, 6 guys BS in this sport that are some of the best in the sport, whether it be a driver or builders or any of that. So you can actually get some of your best information just by walking by someone and overhearing it.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
know.
I missed some of the event last year. I just want to throw this out to the promoters and the vendors. Whenever Jeffy gives you the rules, definitely follow them. Because last year I was cutting off plates and missed some of the shows. I was so mad I missed the seminars.
Yeah, and our goal is with the exhibition classes to keep it pretty clean so you don't have to miss what's the best part.
I'm looking at you, Casey, because your builder is going to be the one that Casey's going to be having to give a speech, and he's going to be out there. We'll just leave it at that.
Yeah, maybe I won't be on the track. Who knows? But
First ever loaded at SMW exhibition.
yeah, and it'll be me. Thanks, Freebie. So,
But I believe we touched on all the main points. You're definitely going to want to follow up with SMW, and we're going to keep posting and keep relaying information as everything's set in stone. Anything else you wanted to talk about today, Casey?
yeah, the best places to get information if you're a vendor looking to register, you can go to smithmetalworks.info and you can register there for looking at what space you want, etc. You can go to Hardcore Derby Promotions. I believe that the link will also be at Jeffy's Fab Farm and also ME527 announcing Mark Elliott. Also, there will be more information to come. So we also have a Facebook page for the Smith Metalworks Expo that's already out there. If you have questions, contact us. Contact Frankie Guy, contact Mark Elliott, contact Jeff Showman. Any of these gentlemen can give you information about it or direct you where you need to go. And come April 1st of 2023, we hope to have one of the most exciting events out there for anybody that loves the sport of demolition derby.
Yo, I'm revved up about it. Like, you got me excited to go.
I think that's the first thing Eddie said.
No.
But like he said, if you have any questions, contact all those listed above. If you can't get a hold of them, get a hold of one of us, and we will direct you or get you in touch. We're going to be sharing the heck out of this because we want to see you there.
I can't wait. Personally, because I never drove somewhere in LS in it.
You're gonna do the ride and drive?
Absolutely, I'd love to.
I don't know why you wouldn't. I mean, it's
I'm
like,
definitely trying it.
like they say, take it out, beat it like a rented mule for say. It ain't yours, right?
All I'm gonna say is I won't let you fire up one of my cars and drive it like that for $20. So you better go to this show.
Oh, that's what I mean when you talk about value for something. I mean, obviously there will be, a waiver and stuff like just regular wristband, but for everything you'll get at this event, I mean, I've spent way more on way worse in my lifetime.
I'm gonna have to bring Jeffy some gas because I can. That thing's gonna be held to the wood.
Who knows? It might even be one of them, not gas, but alternative fuel setups.
Right.
I've spent more on sheets on the way here.
That is true. We can vouch for that.
Right. But I mean, we got all the great people coming back. I mean, you got Jason Koch, and I mean, his seminars are off the hook if you want to learn anything about how a fuel system works. Or
I got to catch Brent. I don't know if he'll be back, but I got to catch him. I got to catch a little bit of Danes last year.
yes.
Those were both great.
Yeah, and we got, of course, Toast. He'll be back. We got trying to get everybody scheduled, and that's why we have so much going on this year is just, I don't know. And, Alex Velasco, All For Him Racing, did such a great job of videoing all of our seminars last year and putting it on YouTube to see. So if you want to see a small preview of what you're going to see this year, go to YouTube, check out All For Him Racing videos, Smith Metalworks Expo. It'll give you a little taste of what's to come this year, but it's not going to compare to what this year's going to bring. It's going to be amazing.
And one last thing, you're going to see the vendors beat the promoters.
I don't know. I'd like to see some more promoters out there. And I'm just going to say it. I don't have a problem being straight with things. It looks like there's a lot of promoters that really don't have the stones to get in the dang minivan and do this. And I've always said the two things you'll never see me in is a minivan and a truck, and I'm getting in a minivan. So I ain't scared.
You know what type of minivan you're going to be in yet?
I don't know. Is there a difference?
Yes, there is. Oh, you'll find out.
Of course I know there is. I might.
Okay, we're going to end it here, though. Rev'd Up out.
You've been listening to the Rev'd Up GarageCast. If it's motorsports and life, we're talking about it. The guys have over 30 years combined experience and a lot of winning. We hope you've enjoyed the show. If you did, make sure to like, rate, and review. And we'll be back soon. But in the meantime, you can find us on Facebook at Rev'd Up GarageCast. Listen wherever you get your podcast at Apple, Spotify, iHeartRadio, and more. Y'all be cool, and we'll see you next time on Rev'd Up GarageCast.